This agent doesn't represent you anymore. He's not. That's why you should always mute your phones before you go in a recording studio. Hi, this is Damon Gettier with Damon Gettier & Associates Realtors. I want to thank you for watching this episode of the Housing Minute. But today we're going to go back to last episode where we talked about the 5 questions you need to ask a listing agent. My web guy said I talked way too much in previous episodes, so we're going to shorten this one down and we're going to break it into steps. First question is going to be, who do you work for? Simple question. And what you're looking for here is, do they work for a buyer, do they work for sellers, do they work for both? What you're looking for is you're working for a dedicated listing agent. You're looking for someone who represents you and your best interests. You want to ask them, do you do dual agency? If they do dual agency, this is what you need to know. I'm going to give you a crash course in dual agency real quick. Dual agency happens when your listing agent has your house listed. A buyer comes along, open house, calls on the sign, finds it on the internet, you got a buyer. Now, you got a buyer and a seller. You represent the seller. Now, all of a sudden, the buyer comes along and the agent says, okay, I represent both. First and foremost, you got to remember, on dual agency, that's something that the buyer and the seller have to willingly go into. Neither one have to agree to be in a dual agency relationship. Each one can say, no, I want representation. That rarely happens because they think they're obligated, if they want to buy this house and want to sell this house, to do dual agency. When you do dual agency, you're not allowed to represent either party. You are a third party mediator. You can't even give your opinion because your opinion doesn't count anymore. This agent doesn't represent you anymore. This agent now represents the commission? I don't know. They can't represent you, they can't represent the buyer. They're just a third party. You hired them, you're paying them out of the proceeds of your house to sell your house and to represent you. I would never suggest any buyer, seller, or agent do dual agency. It's the #1 reason real estate agents get in trouble with the state, because inevitably they end up advising one party or the other when they're not allowed to advise either, and they end up getting themselves in the hot water. And face it, if you're hiring me to sell your house, my job is to sell your house, not to all of a sudden become a third party negotiator when the chance of a higher commission comes along. As always, I want to thank you for watching this episode of the Housing Minute. If you have any questions, feel free to post wherever my web guy says to post. Next episode, we're going to cover the second question you should always ask a listing agent before you sign. Thanks.